Hello and welcome to episode 9 now of Saving a Beauty. I'm your host over here on the West Coast, Carly, and I'm joined by my two other co-hosts. We have Rob and Ishmael. And how are you guys doing on this awesome Tuesday?
Well, I'm fine. I'm sure Ishmael's fine, but the more important thing is, how are you? Because as
I'm
people, I'm sure there are people all over the internet were wondering, where was this
yes.
show last week?
We did
People
not
are
have an
clamoring
episode
for
last
another
week.
episode of Saving a Beauty. And we didn't have one. And why
No.
did we not have one?
I
Because
was on my deathbed.
our beauty was ill.
Yeah.
But now, our beauty is back and she's feeling better, right?
Feeling better, maybe not be looking better, but feeling better. So
Well, that's
next
why they
week will
give
be better.
filters. That's why they give filters for cameras,
Yes.
to make you look better.
Yes.
So that's fine. So,
I
but
don't
we're
know.
glad you're feeling better. Ishmael, you look very ill today. How you doing, buddy?
All I do is win, win, no
Oh, here he goes again. He's got sound effects again. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's how I'm feeling. All I do is win, man. So I mean, that's how I'm doing.
Except for
So
Oh God. Are we gonna have sound effects from you like every show now? Is this like the new thing?
It's gonna be how he communicates. He's just
Yes.
gonna.
See, it's gonna be. I don't mean to make light of it, and I'm really not. People out there, please do not get offended by this. But when people get, like, for example, a really bad debilitating disease like Lou Gehrig's disease, and they're bound to a wheelchair and they can't speak. So what they do is they type into the computer, and the computer talks for them. That's what Ishmael's doing right
No.
now, basically. He's not talking. He's just,
I'm so confused.
oh boy, oh boy. It feels like an episode of Seinfeld.
My goodness.
Anyway, welcome to another episode of Saving the Beauty. As Carly said, this is our episode number 9, and we are recording this on the second to last day of the 25-26 NHL season. There's 2 days left, and believe it or not, it came down to just last night when every single team has now been finalized for the 26 playoffs. So the whole season to get all the teams. 2 days left. We're all done. Now, all the matchups are not official. Some have been set up, but some have still not been set up. But it just goes to show you, and I was talking about this with somebody today. Obviously, we're biased. We're big hockey fans here. I'm not a fan of the NBA. I haven't been a fan of the NBA for 20 some odd years, maybe longer. I don't know. I have my reasons. And the one thing that I have to say, if you're a fan of both, you look at the teams that make the playoffs in the NBA, half the teams, they're below 500 for the season. They don't even have a good record, yet they put them in the playoffs. Every team that made the playoffs this season in the NHL are all above 500 teams. They all have winning records, which goes to show you that the regular season in the NHL means something. It doesn't mean shit in the NBA because, like I said, you can be 10 games below 500 and still make the playoffs. What does that mean for the regular season? So, congrats, NHL. Very proud of all the teams. They're all about 500. And the majority of the show, we're going to be talking about the playoffs, who is in, who didn't get in, and we'll start previewing some of the matchups that are set up, and then we're going to talk about some of the potential matchups. And then next week, when we do our next show, the playoffs will have started. I believe they start Saturday,
Yep.
The playoffs will start Saturday. So we will be about a couple of days with a couple of games underway. But we're going to do our whole playoff prediction show next week when we know the official matchups. We're not going to make predictions on this show because we still don't know the matchups. So even though next week some of the games may have started, we're all going to make our predictions just like we did last season on that other platform. And we're going to see who makes the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see if any of us get it right. So that being said, which one of you guys wants to kick it off with whatever you want to talk about while I get a little catch of breath here? Ishmael, you want to talk about something or anything or what?
well, we know for a fact that the Buffalo Sabres have now canceled their drought for the longest postseason playoff drought in the NHL. That now belongs to the unfortunate Red Wings, 9-season drought, of course.
I believe it's 10 seasons for the Red Wings.
10 seasons now is 10 seasons because they didn't qualify this
Correct.
season. So So
I
that's
have no sympathy for the Red Wings. They won 3 freaking cups in the '90s. You know what? They can suffer for a while.
and you know what I want to add to the fact that the Red Wings they during the trade deadline they traded away a first round pick to the St. Louis Blues. Well, now on the other, well, for every trade there's a winner loser. So now for this loaded draft class, the Blues have now two lottery picks. So there you go.
Hmm.
So
Well, first of all, let us all congratulate the Buffalo Sabres. They went 14 years without making the playoffs. And not only that, they just captured the division. It's their first division title since 2010. That's 16 years. Let me tell you, Buffalo's got a great fan base. They just haven't been able to enjoy it for so long. I would love, if I had a chance to get a ticket for a Buffalo Sabre home playoff game this year, I would love to be there because the atmosphere is going to be great. So congrats to the Sabres. And let me tell you, and we'll talk about it moving forward, I think the Eastern Conference is wide open this year. And if Buffalo can get some goaltending, you never know. They're a young, fast team. It's their first playoff, so we'll see. But congrats to Buffalo. And as far as the other end of the spectrum, yes, the Detroit Red Wings have now missed the playoffs for 10 years. So sorry. So sorry. But the questions will be, will Stevie Yzerman, who is a legend in Detroit, he might be facing some scrutiny and maybe the axe. You know? He could be getting the boot.
Of course, it's like it's been a while. Like that certainly that trade deadline move certainly was a risky one, and that certainly didn't help. Yeah, and it's 10 years going on without a cup. It certainly seems like that's the trend, that's the direction that they're gonna go in. It's gonna be a tough way for him to vouch for his job in the off season.
Let's talk about the teams that didn't make the playoffs first, and then we'll go into the teams that did. So let's stay with the Eastern Conference for a minute. A couple of teams fell short, and they all have storylines. And let's start with the Washington Capitals. Capitals won a couple of years ago. They fell a couple of points short. They had a big run to the end of the season. They came close. They didn't make it. Now, here's the question that remains. The other day, when Pittsburgh and Washington got together, all right, it was the last meeting between the two teams this season. A lot was surrounding, would this be Ovechkin's final game against Sidney Crosby? And what I found very interesting is when the game ended, there was video of the locker room where Crosby and Malkin and Letang all went into the Capital dressing room and they all exchanged sticks, autographed, etc., with Ovechkin. Now, the Grade 8 has not announced anything about next season yet. He had a very good year. He had over 30 goals this year. He can still play. But whenever he's been asked, he said, let me wait till the season is over and I'm going to talk it over with my family and then I'll decide what I'm going to do next year. The question I have for both of you, have we seen the last of Alex Ovechkin?
That's
I
like
bel
a hard one to answer because it's Ovi. Like, in that same game at the end, Pittsburgh was lining up to shake his hand as if it was his last game, and he kept waving them off, telling like, nope, nope, nope. And it was one of those because they were still in the race for a playoff spot. So it was one of those, is he waving them off because he's like, well, wait until the playoffs, or is he waving them off because it's not his last season? So it just, I don't think he knows what he wants to do yet. So I have no way to answer that. I just don't think he knows.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think what Ovi mentioned was that when he saw the audience, like this just made him even more passionate about next season. That was a report that came out. So not saying that he was clearly intent on leaving the ice for good after the season, but he just looked at the crowd and the Washington audience and he just said that the ovation that he got, and he said that it would be a shame to leave this behind. So he of course, like, this is his home away from home. So it's something that he does not want to leave behind in such hurry.
If you want my opinion, I don't know. Some players want to have that farewell tour where they get lauded in each city. Case in point, L.A. Kings on Jay Kopitar. This is his last season, but he announced it before the season started, so everybody knew it was his last season. But when he went to every city, they were able to say goodbye to him in their own way. Well, the Kings are still going to be in the playoffs, so his Kopitar's career is not over yet. Yeah. But he announced it ahead of time. The question is Ovechkin the type that's going to want to be lauded and do a farewell tour? Or is he the type of person that says, you know what, I don't need that crap. I did what I had to do. I had a great career. I set records. I just want to go and enjoy my family and my kids.
I think
I'm torn. Gun to my head, and I hate using that terminology. I'm still predicting he's going to come back next year. I really think he's going to play one more year. He's close to 1,000 goals. Now, he'd need 70 some odd goals, which isn't going to happen for a regular season, 1,000 goals. But he can still play. And the Capitals came close to the playoffs. And I think that'll show him that this team is not bad. And with a couple of tweaks, we could make a run in the playoffs next year. I'm sure he would love one more shot at one more cup. So my prediction, he's coming back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
If he does come back for another season, I think it's going to play out that he's going to announce his retirement after the season ends. I just think that he just doesn't come off as the guy that wants all the recognition, like how all of that, like he wants to be on the ice for one. So I think if he does come back for next season, I don't think he's going to want the tour.
Yeah, in my opinion, Rob, you said it the best. If he by the way, he has exactly 929 goals right now.
Okay, so 71 away.
Yeah. So he's so close to the 1,000 goal mark. I think he's only going to come back for 1, 2, 3 seasons, but he's going to leave after he scores that 1,000 goal mark. I believe.
You think he's going to stay till he gets to 1,000? I don't know.
I think. He's scored 971 is it's nothing compared to how many he's scored already, but
70 goals? When was the last person to score 70 goals?
I mean, he might take a season or 2 or even 3 maybe, but I think he's someone who's very ambitious. I think he's someone who knows that this is the epitome of a hockey. No one has achieved this, and he wants that accomplishment all to himself. I'm pretty sure this is the only reason why he come back. No Stanley Cup achievement will compare to this.
I'll give you another angle to consider. Ovechkin is a free agent. He's not signed by the Capitals. Maybe the Maple Leafs make a run at him.
A goal in Washington.
Go to Toronto, Ovi.
A goal in Washington is the same as goal in Toronto. So wherever he goes, he just wants.
There you go.
So, yeah.
There you go. Ovi in Toronto. That could happen. You never know.
That 1,000 goal will sell for $1 billion wherever it goes. So, but it'll be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. So, but yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't think he's staying that long. But we'll see. Hey, you never know. But I think we all agree we'd love to see him come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the Capitals. Another team that just fell short, and I really feel bad for this team. They came close last year and didn't make the playoffs, and they came close this year and didn't make the playoffs. And it's a team that's hardly ever made the playoffs. I'm talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets. Their history is not of playoff domination. They've only made the playoffs a handful of times, and they have a really good young team. They had a coaching change in the middle of the season. They brought in Rick Bowness, who did a really good job with them. They were in the playoff mix. There was one point a couple of weeks ago they were in second place in the Metro Division. They just picked a bad time at the end of the season to lose a couple of games in a row, and unfortunately the Blue Jackets will once again not be in the postseason. And I feel bad because everybody talks about the whole situation with Johnny Gaudreau. It would have been nice to have the Blue Jackets in 1 year just to see if there could be any kind of, miracle with the angel of Gaudreau over the team or something like that. But it won't be happening this year, so I'm sorry to hear that. And now another team that came really close but spit the bit, and good old Rob here, he's not crying over it. We're talking about the New York Islanders. Yes, everybody was excited about the Islanders. Everybody was excited about their rookie, Matthew Schaefer, who will win Rookie of the Year, guaranteed. The Islanders, for most of the season, were in a playoff spot. They were in second place for most of the season. Well, guess what happened? Near the end of the season, they decided they were going to lose 6 of their last 7 games. They decided they were going to fire their coach with 4 games left in the season and bring in Pete DeBoer. Thank you. They figured Pete DeBoer is going to give them a spark. Pete DeBoer was such a spark that this past weekend they had 2 home games, Saturday and Sunday, and they scored a combined 1 goal in losses to Ottawa and to Montreal, and that's the end of the Islanders. So
Yeah.
the really good thing about this, boys and girls, and I was mentioning this to Ishmael and Carly before the show, this is the first season I can remember, maybe the first season ever, that the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Devils, the 3 tri-state local teams, none of them made the playoffs. So what does that mean? The golf courses in the New York area are going to be very crowded next week. A lot of people playing golf. So Islanders, sorry that you didn't make it. Not sorry, but you're out. Besides that, let's go to the West. And
Yeah.
the first team I want to commiserate with in the Western Conference is a team that's near and dear to one of our hosts' heart. We like to call them the Little Baby Sharks.
Baby.
And, of course, the beauty, Carly, is a big fan of the Sharkies. They had a great season. They're a young team. They have a superstar in Celebrini, but they came close, but not close enough. Carly, your thoughts?
When the season started, I didn't even think that they were going to even have a chance at having a playoff run. So just the fact that they even were a contender up until yesterday was astonishing. Macklin has been phenomenal as predicted. Again, the young core of the team has just proven that they want this. Like, they are just ready. So I think by next season, hopefully, fingers crossed, they kind of slip into a playoff spot. But I was last night on their 3-2 win against Nashville, and then if LA had lost, they would at least still been in the playoff run for maybe another day. But of course, Seattle just had to lose. But yeah, San Jose has been phenomenal this season. I could not be more proud of them, and I think that one they blew everyone's minds. I don't think anyone really predicted them to have the run that they had coming into now. So, mad props to them compared to last year.
As I was mentioning to Carly before the game, there was a very interesting stat that I heard last night, and they picked a really bad time for this. The Sharks had beaten Nashville 15 straight games. So last night you figured, okay, they got Nashville's number. They win here, they're still alive, and of course, no. Picked a bad time to end that streak, Carly. That streak is over.
They won last night, 3-2. Sharks did.
No. Again, here we go.
No.
Didn't Nashville win last night?
No.
Hold on.
Okay, Rob has been drinking heavily today, so okay, I
So
am
Nashville has
mistaken.
beaten us 15 in a row.
Correct. My bad.
And then we won
That was
last
the
night,
streak.
which broke that.
That was the streak. All right, I will be resigning as host of this show since obviously my information is inaccurate. But unfortunately, due to the fact...
Oh, my Lord.
Thank you, Ishmael. Due to the fact that the LA Kings won last night, they solidified that spot. But Sharks came close, and
They did.
the other team that did come close was the team you played last night, the Nashville Predators. Nobody talked about them all season long. I don't think anybody... They were like an afterthought because they had a shitty season last year. They weren't really good this year, but then all of a sudden, near the end of the season, they started winning some games and slowly, catching up, and they came close. Even Stamkos, God bless that guy, he had a really good bounce-back season from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be the comeback player of the year, by the way. At 40 goals this year. He tried his best to get the Preds into the playoffs, but they came up short as well. So Nashville was another team that came up short. And one other team, just to mention, that also came up short were the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis, they were kind of hovering around the bottom of the pack for a while, along with Seattle, by the way.
Yeah.
And neither one of them could make it. So those are the teams that did make it. But now let's start talking about the teams that are in the playoffs. And some of the matchups have been decided, and let's start talking about them. Ishmael,
Yeah.
you put together a wonderful list
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of stuff. So why don't we just start with some of the first round series that are established? There are some good ones. There are some really good ones. But the one series that I'm really looking forward to more than any other series is Dallas, Minnesota. They pretty much have been in second and third place the entire season. We were just waiting to see who was going to get home ice advantage, which will be Dallas. But I'm really looking forward to that series. And it really sucks that one of these teams who could easily win a cup, after the first round, they're going to be out.
Yeah.
And I really hate that about the NHL. I do not like their playoff format. What are your guys' thoughts on Dallas and Minnesota?
I think it's going to be a great series. Dallas is focused or does have a few injuries, I think, so hoping that doesn't like make the series over too fast. But I'm excited about this one. Minnesota has been phenomenal this season in my eyes, so I think this pairing between them and Dallas is going to be great if everyone is again healthy on the roster going in.
Actually, Ishmael, before I get your comments, are you able to put up the standings so we can look at the standings while we talk about this?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll just do
We'll
that.
get a little visual as we go through some of these matchups. We could put it on the side of the screen or whatever, so we can just have that as a guide. That would be really nice.
Okay.
Because, like I said, some of the matchups have been decided. There's still a handful that are not. But, all right. Okay, what do we got here? All right, well, there's Dallas and Minnesota. I see that. And there are your wild card teams. Wait, whoa. I don't know what that was, but okay.
His sounds.
Is there a way you can shrink that? Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're still learning this a little bit.
You want to shrink this?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can actually see the whole
Oh no, this is
See that?
uh.
Well, no. All right. Well, I'm getting dizzy here. Just a minute.
Wait, do you want to see? This is the Eastern Conference, and this is the.
Let's stick in the Western Conference since we started with Dallas,
Okay,
Minnesota. Let's stick with the West. We'll go to the East after that. So if we could just pull up the Western Conference, let's do that, and we'll go to the East after that.
Is it better?
No, I still see the rain. All right, here we go. All right. Well, we just discussed that matchup. Can you get the rest of the Pacific Division on the screen?
This is the wild
All
card,
right,
by
there
the
we go.
way.
Stop. All right. Oh my God, I'm getting cool. All right. This is gonna be. It's like I'm on a Ferris wheel here. All right. Let's talk about. If you look at the Pacific Division, it's not set yet. Because as you can see, the teams are separated by 3 points. Vegas, Edmonton have 1 game left. The Duckies, the little Duckies, they have 2. So hypothetically, Anaheim, which is currently in third, could actually jump all the way up into first place and win the division. Also, which is kind of interesting, if you look at Utah with 90 points, they're basically tied with Anaheim.
Yeah.
They could flip. So there's really no matchups that are set up in this playoff round in the Western Conference. Dallas, Minnesota is one matchup. Everything else pretty much are in the Eastern Conference. We're going to have to wait for the Western Conference to get solidified as far as the seedings are concerned. Let's go back to the Eastern Conference.
If I can add, LA can
Yes.
LA can basically like if LA wins its last 2 games, they will tie Vegas. But because Vegas has more regulation wins, the best LA can do is go to number 2 in the Pacific. So LA can still qualify as a Western team, but they can't be Pacific Conference champions.
But what's interesting is let's say LA finishes in second and Edmonton falls to third. That means that LA and Edmonton will play for the 5th straight year in the first round. That is great. That is scary. And Edmonton has won every single one of those matchups. So if I'm an LA King fan, I don't want any part of Edmonton in the first round. I just don't. Nope. But it could happen again. That'd be really interesting. So,
We're
but
happening.
let's go back over. Absolutely. Let's go back to the East-ish if you can scroll back up.
I'll do
Because we
this.
do have some other matches
I'll do that
locked
slowly.
in. We talked about the Stars in Minnesota, but let's look in the East. In the first round, one of the matchups that's definitely settled is going to be Tampa against Montreal. All right? They're going to be in second and third. We still don't know who's going to finish in second and who's going to finish in third because each team has a game left. They're currently tied all with the same amount of points. Buffalo obviously has the tiebreaker with regulation wins. For me, and again, we're not making predictions yet, I think it's really important for Montreal to get that home ice in the first round against Tampa. I just think that for them to have a shot against the Lightning, and I really like the Lightning, and when we make our predictions, you'll see that. I think Montreal, if they can get that extra game at home, might have a shot. Right now, the way it looks, I believe Tampa would have the home ice advantage. I'm correct. Yes, I'm correct. So we'll see. Ishmael, you also pointed out that Noah Dobson, who's a very important piece for the Canadiens, he's now out for 2 weeks with an upper body injury.
Mm-hmm.
Bad timing.
That's a big loss.
That's
a significant loss for the Canadiens. But hey, you know what? They're a young team. If they can get their goaltending to be solid in the playoffs, and I'll be curious who they go with. Will it be Fowler? Will it be Montembeault? I don't know. They've been playing Fowler a lot lately, but he's a rookie. So we'll see if they put him in. That'd be a big test.
If there's any team if there's any two teams with a bigger age differential in the playoffs in the first round, it's Tampa Bay and Montreal. Tampa Bay's average age is 30 and Montreal's is 26.
I didn't realize that Montreal was that old. I thought they were a younger team.
Yeah,
They must have some older players that are bringing down that average age because they have a lot of young talent.
They have
on that team.
Gallagher. And they have
Gallagher is an older player. You're
Yeah.
right. They have to have some older pieces on that. I think Josh Anderson might be an older player for them. So that brings down their average age. Tampa, we know, is a veteran team. But Tampa has one thing that, and I will say this over and over again, when it comes to playoffs, what I think is the most important thing in the playoffs is goaltending. As long as they have Vasilevsky in the nets, they're going to have a chance to win. And Vasilevsky is ready to go. So you're going to have Tampa and Montreal in one series, but another series, which is going to be an amazing series to watch in the first round, is the Battle of Pennsylvania. And that's going to be really interesting. The Flyers just clinched last night in a shootout win. And I'm telling you what, I don't think anybody thought the Flyers were going to make the playoffs this year. Nobody was talking about the Flyers. Well, lo and behold, they snuck in and grabbed that last spot. So you're going to have the Battle of Pennsylvania, and every time these two teams meet, if you ever remember any of the past series, they're Donnybrooks. There's brawls, there's fights, it's intense.
It's gonna be exciting.
Remember, Sidney Crosby, we don't know how much longer he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to think that the Penguins would be favored, but, Flyers get some goaltending again. Back to goaltending. If they get some goaltending from Vladar, watch out. They brought up Porter Martone right out of college, and this kid, since he's been on the team, he's scoring goals like every game.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ishmael notices that.
I know.
I know you know, because you're Mr. College.
Yeah.
So
No, and he also played for the junior team in my town.
oh, there you go. Did you ever interview him?
No, I did not.
That's disappointing.
No, I watched him play. But I watched him for fun. I'm not gonna make my leisure my job.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, what else we got going on in the first round?
So because Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are gonna play, and Tampa Bay and Montreal are gonna play, so Buffalo and Carolina, each of these teams are gonna play either Boston or Ottawa. So
Correct.
and Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk, since Ottawa is not gonna, no matter what they do, they're not gonna advance further, advance their position higher than the wild card. So they've got Brady Tkachuk in the back pocket, and he'll be only active once the playoff begins.
So right now, if the season ended today, Carolina would be playing Ottawa, and Boston would play Buffalo. That's another great series. That brings back the old days of the Patrick Division of the NHL, when they used to have some great series back in the old days. But it's not set yet because they all have They each have one game remaining.
Yep.
Now, hypothetically, Ottawa can still hop over Boston with a win and a Boston loss. So it's not set yet. But Carolina did lock up the number 1 seed in the conference. So no matter what, they're the top seed in the conference.
By miles.
So again,
By miles.
it's going to go right down to tomorrow night, pretty much.
Yep.
It's going to be very interesting. That's for sure.
Now, another team that got in at the last minute, LA Kings. LA, I'm telling you, they were just hanging by a thread. They made a coaching change near the end of the season. They acquired Artemi Panarin from the Rangers in a terrible trade by the Rangers, if you must ask me. But Panarin has been great for LA. As a matter of fact, the other night, in a 1-0 game that the Kings won, Panarin was the lone goal scorer. He's been performing for them as I expected he would. The question with Panarin always is, can he do it in the playoffs? And I have to tell you, he was never a playoff performer with the Rangers in the 7 years he was here. So be curious to see how he performs in the bright lights of LA this year. But the Kings did make it, and so they got the final spot in the West. A couple of other things. The President Trophy winner, and if I'm an NHL team, honestly, I don't think I want to be the President Trophy winner. I think it's a jinx.
Especially
Every
if
team
it's
that wins the
this
President
year.
Trophy, the year after that, they don't make the playoffs. 2 years ago, the Rangers were President Trophy winners. Last year, we didn't make the playoffs. This year, we were even worse. Last year, who were the President Trophy winners? Winnipeg Jets. What happened to the Jets this year? They didn't make the playoffs either. So Colorado is this year's President Trophy winners. Congratulations, but if I were you, I wouldn't be happy about that. But they are. The thing with Colorado, they're a great team, great scoring team. Obviously, you got McKinnon and McCarr. I really think it all hinges with their goaltending as well. I am not sold on the Woods in goal for Colorado. You got to show me.
Hey, we got rid of Blackwood to Colorado. Like, San Jose traded him, and that was one of the best things, I think, in the long run, because now our goaltending has been amazing, and we don't have to deal with him. And it's been nice. I just don't think he's long-term.
But hold on. Colorado are the top goal scoring team in the league, but aren't they also the top? Haven't they given up the least goals in the league as well?
Who's this?
Colorado.
Well, if you pull up the standings again, we can take a look.
Yeah, they're like the top. They have given up the least goals in the league. They're number 1 on both ends.
Well, that means they will also win the Jennings Trophy, which goes to the team with the best goals against average. So Colorado will get both the President's Trophy and the Jennings Trophy. They're going to get 2 trophies. Again, we'll see what it means in the playoffs. But I mean, they've been at the top of the heap from day one. From start to finish, they were the best team in the league. So they had a great season. Yeah, they had 202 goals against. That's how many goals against they gave up this year in the regular season. The next closest team to them, wow, it's a big difference. The next closest team, according to my calculations, were the Dallas Stars, same division actually, with 223. So the Colorado Avalanche gave up 21 less goals than the second best team. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, playoffs are a whole different ball of wax, so we'll see what happens.
It'll be interesting next year to see, how much that curse really takes over.
Now, Ishmael, let's talk about one of those Canadian teams in your neck of the woods, the Canadiens, because they had 2 very interesting milestones.
Mm-hmm.
The first was Cole Caulfield, who is probably about 4 feet tall. He scored 50 goals this year.
Yep.
He is the first 50-goal scorer in 36 years for the Canadiens. Now, let's see if you remember this, Ishmael, because I asked this question last time we were on the air. Who was the last Canadian to score 50 goals in a season? Oh, my God. I did ask it on our last show. See, Carly, just goes to show you that it's in one ear and out the other with Ishmael. Brain is a sieve.
I'm not a historian, man.
Historian. Ishmael, I told you last time who it was. The answer to the question, maybe you should write it down, because I might answer it again next week. The last Canadian to score 50-plus goals in a season was the great Stéphane Richer. I know it's before your time, but it was 36 years ago. That's the last Canadian goal scorer. Now, in addition to that, Nick Suzuki scored his 100th point the other night against the Islanders. He is the first Canadian to score 100 points in a long time. And to be quite honest with you, boys and girls, I don't know the last 100 points scored for the Canadians, so I'm not going to fudge it and pretend that I do know it. Maybe Ishmael knows who it is.
No, I don't know.
Of course not. Why would you know? So yeah, Canadians with a couple of milestones. This was a milestone that I didn't even know about that Ishmael put on his list here. Anaheim's John Carlson.
Oh yeah, his
Yeah.
first hat trick.
I mean, he is a defenseman, so it kind of makes sense.
But still, like 17 season career.
I mean, he played 17 years and never had a hat trick. You know, that's pretty impressive. That he waited till now to get a hat trick. You know, it's a long time.
Yeah, it makes it's yeah, it is a long time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What else?
I don't know. I was just trying to make
in-depth analysis here, and I get nothing. It's like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a long time. Just kind of shows that that he probably has got more offensive freedom in the Anaheim Ducks. I guess more than
well, different system.
Yeah.
Yeah, different chemistry
System.
of players too.
Now, speaking of young players, and I know that Ishmael was going to ask me about this, we talked about him earlier, Matthew Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer has had a great season, and the other night he scored his 23rd goal as a rookie defenseman. That ties him with the best defenseman in New York Ranger history that I got to see play, and that is the man by the name of Brian Leach. Now, Ishmael said, well, you know, Matthew has one more game. He's going to break the record. So let's put our chips on the table. Ishmael, so the Islanders play tonight, actually. I think they play tonight against Carolina. This will be their last game. Will Matthew Schaefer break the record?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's
Harley?
like I've said before. Like he is a generational talent. You know, like a player who can. I mean, the last player to have done this was Connor Bedard. Obviously, a player who can go up from the child's play of Canadian juniors, bypass the NCAA, bypass the AHL, and jump into the NHL. That takes great skills. So, you know, I mean.
Carly, do you think that Matthew Schaefer will break the record tonight?
Oh, that was a hard one because I know he can break it, but being that this is the last game,
Knowing he can break it is one thing. Doing it is another thing.
exactly. I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. I'm gonna go in with
Okay,
that.
so Carly, we have a no. Ishmael, we have a yes. Guess I have to break the tie.
Pressure. It
Because
could
of,
be.
because of my hatred toward the Islanders, I'm saying not only will he not break the record, he's going to break his hand tonight.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm sorry. I'm
No.
gonna break a bone in the finger. So
Love shave.
sorry, but I'll have the whole off season to recover. I'm not to play golf. To recover.
See, I'm just saying he wasn't gonna break it. I'm not trying to like hurt the kid.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
It sounded like static, Ishmael. I couldn't understand what the hell that was.
I don't know. It was supposed to be a boo, like, but I guess it was
Did
boom.
not-
Yeah, that was. Oh my god. Ishmael just falling off the face of the earth here.
He's just
Gonna
over
put him in one of those
pushing buttons
Artemis
that he doesn't
face
know what
crack
to
and
do.
shoot him from the moon. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue because if we don't stop talking, then we're going to hear another sound effect. Another milestone that was set the other night. We were talking about the Winnipeg Jets a couple of minutes ago. Mark Scheifele, who is a very underrated player. He's a really good player, but not a lot of people talk about him. Well, he just set the most points in a season by a Jet player, also over 100 points with 101, and he did it very quietly. I had no idea he was a 100-point player, to be honest with you. So, congratulations to Mark Scheifele.
No, that's
Now,
awesome.
Ishmael, I don't know if you have this. Last night, we've been talking about players whose seasons might be ending or who are ending. We talked about Andrei Kopitar, that this is his last season. He's still going to be in the playoffs. talked about Alex Ovechkin. We don't know what his plans are for next year. But last night, we got to watch the final game of the number one all-time winningest American goaltender in NHL history. Talking about Jonathan Quick. He announced before the game last night this was going to be his final game. Rangers were on the ice in Florida to take on the Panthers. In pregame warm-ups, every player on the ice wore a number 32, which is Quick's number. It was a good game. Rangers really were pressing in the third period. The game was tied at 2. They were out shooting the Panthers 11-1. And it always seems to happen this way. When you don't score a goal, the other team's going to come down the ice and one fluke shot is going to beat you. And that's what happened. Down the ice, Florida Panthers came, and Cole Reinhardt, no relation to Sam, beat him up high, glove side, and the Panthers went on to win the game 3-2. So Quick's history or his career will end with a loss, but let me tell you, so many records. Most wins by an American goaltender, best save percentage, 3 Stanley Cups. He won 2 with LA, 1 beating my Rangers in 2014. The guy is just a great guy. The locker rooms love him. They interviewed a lot of the Rangers after the game last night, and you could just see the emotion the team had for him and the love they had for him. A great career, and as the game ended, Quick exited the ice because he was pissed off that he lost. But then the Panthers all waited on the ice for him to come back. Mm-hmm. And one of the Ranger players went back in the dressing room and said, come back on the ice. And Quickie came back on the ice, and one by one, he was congratulated by the Panther players. And the first one to congratulate him was Sergei Bobrovsky, who also has 2 cups. They had a long embrace right at the center of the ice. Really good talk. I mean, I'd love to know what they were saying, but just want to say congratulations to a great career by Jonathan Quick. He is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. So in 3 years, I just think that Toronto will be calling his name to make it into the Hall of Fame. You guys have any thoughts on John Quick? I mean, Carly, you're on the West Coast, so obviously you get to see a lot of Kings games. I don't know how much you watched of Quick's career while he played with LA, but you have any thoughts on the Quickie?
I didn't follow his career in California, really not until he got over on the East Coast. But phenomenal career, just well-deserved to be recognized for one. And, I mean, I love goalies. I think that they are some of the weirdest people, and I absolutely love them. And I just think that, I don't know, I just don't think there's going to be another goaltender like him. Everyone's different, but he was a good goaltender and good career and well-deserved retirement for him.
Goaltenders are a different kind of breed. They all are interesting, and it was funny on the Ranger postgame last night. One of the commentators is Henrik Lundqvist, and they were beating him up big time, saying, Henrik, you had a chance to beat Quick in the Stanley Cup Finals. What happened? And of course, we all know what happened there. But Henrik Lundqvist is already in the Hall of Fame. John Quick will be right behind him. 18 years in the league. And the cool stat about last night's game, one of the players on the Rangers is a rookie by the name of Gabe Perreault. Ironically enough, 18 years ago, in one of Quick's first games, he played against Perreault's dad, Yannick. That just shows you how long Quick had played in the league. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not only did he play against Perreault's dad, he played with Perreault on the Rangers. So I really hope he comes back, and maybe the Rangers offer him a gig as maybe like a goaltender coach. I think he'd be a fountain of knowledge. I don't know if that's what he wants to do, but I was blessed to be able to watch him for the last 3 seasons. And I'm telling you right now, the guy can still play. He could come back next year. He still has it. He just figures, that's enough. It's time for me to move on and give a young guy a chance to play. So I just wanted to give some kudos to John.
It's harder on the body for one. So I mean, yeah, I think he can still play.
But Quick had a very unique style. He didn't have your regular type of. He was more of a butterfly style goaltender. He went down a lot. You had to beat him up high to beat him. You could not beat him down low. He was a great goaltender down low. But again, great career, and I just want to congratulate him on just enjoying retirement. Ishmael, you have any thoughts on Quick?
I mean, he was the first American-born goalie to play 400 games. So that in itself is is like an achievement, and he set the stage for a lot of American goalies, and just I mean it's just it was just a great thing just to watch him in his time in LA. So and all those championship days, and yeah, I mean, you just can't put it into words. It's just amazing career just finished right like that.
Yep. Yep. So before we wrap this up, because I'm looking right now and I have 6% left on my laptop battery, so we're going to have to wrap it up soon. I'm going to let Ishmael talk about this because he is our college expert. We had the finals of the Frozen Four on Saturday night, and the winners were the team from the University of Denver. Or Denver, is it University of Denver or is it Denver College?
I don't know, University of Denver, I think.
Great, and you're our expert. Okay.
Hey, I didn't
Well,
go.
anyway, Denver.
I didn't go there.
Denver did
I know.
win.
I know they
beat
called
the
the Denver
University of
Pioneers.
Wisconsin. They won 2-1, and that's Denver's second championship in the last couple of years. They have a really good hockey program in Denver. So, Ishmael, you wanted to talk about the Hobie Baker winner.
Yeah, that was Max Plant. He is a Red Wings prospect. So I mean that was I mean the Hobie Baker goes to, I think, I believe the best player in all of hockey, in all of college hockey. So I mean yeah, so he was part of the American team's juniors team. So I mean, I mean, of course, it went very well for them. Just didn't come to the Frozen Four, unfortunately, but it just didn't capture the Frozen Four. But yeah, like Denver Pioneers, yeah, like their like my chosen team was Michigan. Of course, I'm wearing Michigan's team because they won.
Yeah, that worked out real well
Down.
for
I
you.
have it written
At least,
down.
at least the basketball team won, Ishmael.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm wearing this shirt, because it is Michigan basketball. So
Front runner.
Okay.
Okay, then. There we go.
so yeah, so they won the basketball, but they were in the semifinals. They did take Denver to overtime. I mean, I think that was one of the greatest college hockey games I've seen. I think that was even better than the final. So, in my opinion, so.
Well, we'll see. But anyway,
But you know what? Honestly, I want to put this out there. Like I do hockey as as like, for me it's kind of like a job, and sometimes it feels like a job because I'm just covering stats and everything like that. By the way, I've got another. I'm going to talk about another news about that, about Leafs trying to acquire Sunny Mehta from the Panthers. So sometimes whenever I see these college players, these young players, whenever they jump for joy about something that's been their dream, it kind of makes it all worthwhile. Covering all this stuff. It makes me feel like this is worth all doing it. So yeah, it's just amazing.
if only you knew who scored 50 goals for the Canadians 32
Yeah,
years
well,
ago.
he's probably he's probably dead now, so I don't even.
Yeah, well, he's not dead. How dare you say that? Oh my God! If the Riche family is watching this podcast, please send all your legal action to Ishmael Fassi. It's not anyone else. We didn't say that. All right, dead.
No, but
He's alive and well.
you know what? I have had the opportunity of interviewing players, and some of them have been straight up a-holes, and some of them have been proud to have been proud of what they have achieved so far. So you see all forms of people. So
All right. Speaking of a-holes, let's end it on that note. And let's say now next week, boys and girls, the playoffs will have started. But myself, Ishmael, the fountain of information, and the beauty will all have our picks. We're going to go round by round, just like we did last year. We're going to go round by round. We're going to see if we get every matchup correctly, and then we're going to also choose our Stanley Cup finals and who we predict will be the Stanley Cup champions. We'll see if we get it right. We ask anybody out there that watches this, if you're encouraged to do so, leave us a comment with your prediction on who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup as well. We'd love to talk about it on the show. But Any last words, guys, before my laptop crashes and burns? Okay, let's not all talk at once.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
The best thing you've said all night, Ishmael. Okay, that basically wraps up episode 9 of Saving the Beauty. Until we see you next week when the 2026 playoffs will have started, and if you love hockey, you love the playoffs, and that'll be starting next week. I think we're going to have really exciting playoffs this year. A lot of new teams in the playoffs this year that were not in it the last couple of years. So some fresh blood. Let's hope for a great playoff season. So on behalf of Ishmael, with his sound effects, you have any more you want to show before we say goodbye?
Get it out of your
No, you see, you used that one last time. You're running out of material. All right, Cena.
Okay.
On behalf of Cena in Toronto and Carly, who hopefully will be 100% next week, this is Rob saying so long from Saving the Beauty. We'll see you guys next week.